Hello. I remembered something. I want to do a video on pregnancy and anxiety. Basically, being pregnant while you have anxiety as bad as like some of us do. Most of you, I believe, know that I have 6 kids, 6 different pregnancies, 6 different births, all that. I've gone through it 6 times. Um, um, through 2 of those pregnancies, I had this horrible anxiety. As a matter of fact, my 5th child is when I actually had the worst panic attack of my life. Happened when I was actually pregnant with her. And, uh, and basically, this is what I wanted to say. You can't really take medication. The doctor will tell you, hey, I'm going to give you this medication. I will say this. I was put on Zoloft when I had my very first panic attack. My doctor said that I was so stressed out that it would be safer for the baby, for me to be able to be on Zoloft so that I can basically calm down, right? Well, I believed that, and I went ahead and did it. I took the very minimal dose of Zoloft, and but this is when I first had my anxiety. And then I ended up like taking myself off of that after I had my daughter, and getting like trying to deal with it on my own without the medication. As a matter of fact, the Zoloft started having, I guess, the chemicals because when you're pregnant, the chemicals in your brain are different, and then when you're not pregnant, they're different. So like it's just like when women, this is girl talk. So basically, it's just like when we're on our rags and our monthly thing. I'm sorry, some people don't like people calling it that, but when we're on our monthly, the chemicals in our body, the chemicals in our brain change. So that's why we have all these different things that happen to us. We get moody, we get crazy, same thing happens when we're pregnant. So that's why we get moody and crazy whenever you're pregnant. I was known for that. My husband, every time I would tell him I was pregnant, he would be like, why? Because he knew that I was about to turn into a straight up B. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But I ended up, that's just the way I was when I was pregnant. But anyway, basically what I was trying to say is I was able to get through. I had my anxiety. It was real bad when I first got my anxiety. Because even though I was on pills, this is what I don't get about the pill thing. Even though I was on Zoloft, I would have between 6 and 8 full-blown panic attacks a day when I was pregnant with my daughter. And so like I would get on the couch. I would be shaking uncontrollably. I would be freaking out in my head. I'd be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I kept thinking that I was going to die during childbirth, that something was going to go on in my body, that I looked up all these crazy things that can happen to you when you're pregnant. Don't do that, by the way. But like I had looked up all this stuff, and as a matter of fact, while I was pregnant with her, I watched Medical Examiner. I'm so against Medical Examiner. It's not even funny. I had watched an episode where I'm not going to tell you the details, but basically it was dealing with a lady who was pregnant and some stuff that had happened to her that usually happens in pregnant people. But I also believe that her being extremely overweight and didn't eat very healthy, not a healthy person, all these things probably had factored into it, plus of all the added stress she was under and like whatever. But regardless, and this was like a 1 in a million thing that happened to her. Of course, us with anxiety, we all think we're going to be that 1 in a million thing. So, but still, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, don't watch shows like that when you're pregnant. Don't look up stuff like that when you're pregnant. You will make it through, even though I know you're pregnant. You're probably worried about what's happening to the baby and like all this stuff. But I was having full-blown panic attacks, like 6 to 8. I couldn't even leave my house. It was so bad. I even had where I remember going to Walmart. I would go to Walmart. This was like the little Walmart, because the little Walmart doesn't, the neighborhood market Walmart doesn't cause me anxiety like the big super store does. But I had gone to the little Walmart. I would go there and like all of a sudden, like, everything went sideways, and like I felt like I was going to throw up, and I ran to the bathroom, threw up. I had to leave right away. I was shaking uncontrollably, and I was having really bad anxiety. That was with my 5th child. That was with my daughter, Sarah, and she, yeah, it was just really bad for me. But I made it through, and my daughter was born healthy. I survived. Everything was great. Yes, I had the scares. Yes, I had the thoughts that go into your head when you're pregnant, that you're going to end up, dying in childbirth, or that the baby's going to be stillborn, or that you're going to have a miscarriage, or, all these things go through your head. You're wondering if you're eating the right things, or like, oh, I never took prenatal vitamins, like, ever. Never. All my pregnancies, never did. All my kids are wonderfully healthy, by the way. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't take prenatals, but I couldn't. Every time I tried, I would get really sick to my stomach. So I just could never. They kept on trying to find different prenatals for me to take, and I just could never do it. So I never took prenatal vitamins. But there's people out there was nurses and things like that would be like, oh, you need to please take prenatal vitamins. You need to make sure you're taking them. It's so bad for you and the baby, and blah, 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 blah. First of all, I'm going to let y'all know this. As long as you're eating good, and you're eating, just eating in general, even if you just take your regular vitamins that you take on a daily basis, or just if you're just eating healthy, the baby is going to absorb all the vitamins and nutrients that it needs. You, on the other hand, are the one that is going to end up deficient. So that's why we need to take prenatal. That's why they try to push the thing with prenatals and stuff like that. But okay, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to tell you not to take prenatals. But what I'm trying to say is that even though I didn't take prenatals, even though I was having these horrible panic attacks all the time, even though this was my first time going through this, of course, with anxiety, even though I was going through all this stuff, I turned out fine. I came out of the hospital perfect. My daughter was born perfectly fine. Everything was great. Everything turned out great. So what I'm trying to say is, don't freak out. Don't let the anxiety get to you. Don't let all those bad thoughts go into you, because I had allowed all those bad thoughts to come to me, and I honestly believed that that I was going to die. Like, that's why I kept going into panic attacks at home. And then with my 6th pregnancy, I was not on any medication whatsoever. I was having anxiety. What I did then, because I actually had, with my first pregnancy that I went through with this, I didn't know anything, and I hadn't really figured out anything dealing with me. But by the time I had my 6th one, that was with my 5th one. My 6th one, I actually knew that more about my anxiety and stuff. So when I was pregnant with my 6th one, I was having my anxiety and stuff, but I hadn't been having the major panic attacks anymore so bad. I still would have them once in a while, and I had the derealization, I had the breathing issues, I had the dizzy spells, I had all these things happening to me still. But what I did with that pregnancy, I wasn't on any kind of medication. What I did is I would always buy chamomile. And so, okay, I think this is the Mexican part of me coming out right now. I believe that, okay, I call it manzanilla. I'm calling it chamomile because I know not all of you are Mexican, but I'm used to calling it manzanilla. Manzanilla has been known, I believe, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the manzanilla, if you take it too early in your pregnancy, that it can cause you to miscarry, or it's like a myth. It's a Mexican thing. I don't really know. I don't remember if it's manzanilla, or I just don't remember what it was. I think it is manzanilla. So I would double check. Just double check. Look it up. Do research. I know that I didn't start having to drink the manzanilla and stuff, the calming teas. I started drinking calming teas about halfway through my pregnancy, because that's when my anxiety started getting really bad. Because then I guess it was more like real, like it was going to happen, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have a baby kind of thing. Another one, like I hadn't had it before. It was my 6th one. So but what I would do is I would calm myself down. I would like sit on the couch or lay back on the couch, and I would relax. I would turn the fan on. I would read a book. I would listen to calming music. I would drink my calming teas, things like that. I would just I walked a lot because walking is really good for you. I would make sure that I was eating properly. You know, of course, when you're pregnant, you have cravings. With my sixth one, I was craving nothing but jalapeno poppers. And so I ate those like on a daily basis. But which wasn't the best thing. I ate those dipped in ranch, you know, every single day, pretty much when I was pregnant with my sixth one. So maybe that's why he's crazy. He's crazy. He's a wild man, like for real. but what I'm trying to say is, and I had some panic attacks during that one. I remember calling my doctor, freaking out. I was in the bathroom and I was like freaking out so bad when I was like probably about 8 months pregnant. With him, and he was like, calm down, you're okay. And he was an amazing doctor. Yes, he was a male, but he was like he's the best gynecologist I have ever had in my life, and I've had about 3. And he was my last one that I just stuck to, because he was so good at making sure that I felt comfortable, and making him and his nurses, oh my gosh, it was they were amazing. But anyway, I think it's important to feel comfort. And you need to understand and realize, okay, I've gone through this so many times, the pregnancy thing. And I went through 2 pregnancies with the anxiety. And still, I made it. Everything's great. My kids are wonderfully healthy. They're a little crazy. But what kid isn't? Basically, if you're pregnant and you have anxiety, you're going to be okay. If you need help, if you want to talk to me because you're pregnant and you're dealing with this, go ahead and email me. Y'all know my email. I usually put it down on my comments, but it's animefreaktina@gmail.com. So it's ANIMEFREAKTINA@gmail.com. So email me and I'll be more than happy to try to help you out. But I do understand. I remember the fear. And even with my 6th one, I kept thinking, oh, well, this time I'm surely going to die, whatever. And I kept thinking crazy about my son and, my child that was in me, and I kept thinking that my stress and my anxiety and then me not taking the prenatals and like all this stuff was going to end up making him come out bad, And honestly, my son, my last one was the biggest one I've had. He was pretty much 9 pounds. And he what do you call it? He did come out with like a bruise. He had like a black eye and like a collarbone was broken and all kinds of stuff. And I was worried to death. And, I guess at that time though, once he came out and everything, I actually started worrying more about him and not so much about me, but I was still having anxiety, like dealing with him. But, everything, it's all normal. It's part of being a mom. It's part of giving birth. It's part of, doing that. You're going to have those things. That's normal for any woman who is having, a baby. But like I said, don't worry. I've been through it twice with crazy anxiety as bad. And I don't know if y'all have seen the rest of my videos, but I've had some really crazy anxiety, really bad anxiety. And this was during both those 2 last pregnancies, and I still made it through and everything's fine. My babies are perfectly fine. You do need to try to calm down. I did try to keep myself calm. Like I said, I would do the reading, the calming music. I would try to prop my feet up. You have to prop them up above the level of your head. So prop them up, good, so that your circulation is good, things like that. Like I said, I've been through this 6 times. So, just like I said, just be calm, try to be as calm as possible. Yes, you're going to have those worries. Yes, you're going to have that anxiety. But don't let it overtake you. Just know that you're going to be fine. And there's a lot of women out there actually that I've talked to. So many people have asked me this question, about the pregnancy thing. So like, so I know that it gets, how it can be basically. So just know that everything is going to be fine and you're going to be great and your baby's going to be great. Just think about all the good stuff. Be positive and think about the baby that's going to be coming and you're going to be able to hold that baby in your arms and You know, I used to love, you know, when you have a baby, you end up missing, I know me anyway, when the baby comes out and everything, he or she is out there and you're able to hold him or her, and it's wonderful, and you're like, oh yes, you know what I mean, you have this child, but you feel like empty. I mean, you literally are empty, I guess, because you had this baby in you, but like you start missing, like I used to miss, like when I first, every time I would have a baby, I would end up missing like that whole, like where you put your hand on your stomach and you feel the baby like moving around. And like my oldest daughter, this might be embarrassing for her, but when she was in my stomach, she used to put her little butt like right on the edge of my stomach, so like I would see her little butt cheeks right there, and I used to put my hand like on it, like on my stomach, and I used to just pat her little butt and be like, hey, what are you doing, you know? But it's little things like that. Think about those things. Don't think about, oh, I might die or whatever. Think about those things. Think about how your baby reacts in your stomach, or how, like I used to put on certain music, like my oldest son. Whenever I would put on rock and roll, or like rock or metal, he would like start moving around, and I was like, I didn't know if like he liked it or what, you know, but like you start noticing these little things, or the things that you crave, you know. My fifth one, I craved watermelon like crazy, and she loves watermelon. So like, you just gotta, like I said, think about positive things. Think about the things that are going to be in the future. You know, think about, oh, when I have this child, you know, or just think about those things, you know, and be happy for real. Don't think about the negative stuff. Think about the positive stuff. Being a mom, being able to have somebody call you mommy. And if it's your first time going through this and you have anxiety, I'm so sorry. But I will say this, you will make it and everything will be great. You will get through it. And I know I did. And I know you can too. So just remember, and like I said, if y'all need any kind of help, if y'all need any kind of guidance, if y'all have any questions, even just dealing with pregnancy in itself, because like I said, I've gone through it 6 times, go ahead and email me, like seriously. And if you live in the United States, I might even be able to give you my phone number. But I will be, well, I'll talk about that later. I am going to be taking a break from everything soon, but I'll let y'all know about that later on. But anyway, so yeah, just if you're pregnant and you're going through this, I know what it feels like, and I've been there twice, and you'll be fine. I've gone through the pregnancy stuff. I've gone through the heartburn. I've gone through the whatever that thing is, the sciatic nerve thing. Oh, horrible. But I've gone through all that with anxiety, and I've been fine. So, and the babies have been fine. So just know that and be awesome. If you have any questions, have any comments, put them down below. I'll talk to you guys later. And remember, you're not alone. You are not alone. It's so important to understand. You are not alone. But, all right. Bye.